So in Path on day 3, we were throwing in our ideas about water as an element, and some of the ones that I wrote down were Quench, Never Let Me Go, the Florence song, which is about the ocean, Wishing Well, Ice, Moon Movement, and I also said my fish Francois kind of before I could stop myself, but everyone was like, oh, like they all thought it was cute, so that was good. I also have my flower lungs are flungs and they hold my self-compassion. So many can learn from me, Mood Indigo. Mood Indigo is a Michel Gondry film that is about, it's French and it's a surrealist, and it's about a newly married couple where the woman starts to grow a water lily in her lungs. So like it's an absolutely incredible film, like just you'll love it, you got to see it. We then made a hex breaker water bowl with different ingredients. Bay leaves for purification, for example, and also rose. And I thought about that in relation to the sacrifice of the Oscar Wilde story of The Nightingale and the Rose, where there's a white rose, but the person who lives in the house that it's next to wants to have a red rose to give to someone. And so the nightingale hears this and it puts its breast onto the thorn of the rose, and like its blood goes into the rose and makes it red. And the bird dies after that, so it's a pretty sad story. But like, yeah, that was just in my head when we were doing the hex breaker stuff. And then we went outside barefoot on the grass, sprinkled the hex water over our heads, so that was cool. We then thanked the elements for another spell that we did, and I asked how to thank something that was creative, like your grimoire where you write the spell, because if you use a candle, it's thank you fire, if you use water, it's thank you water, you know, blah, blah, blah. But if you have your journal or whatever, you know, what is that? What do I say? And they said, thank you, creature of art. So now I know what to say, you know, to my supplies after I've made something. We then did some trance work. Something I wrote was find your yes. So that was interesting. And one of our teachers said that writing can actually be a trance, like kind of when your brain clicks into it and you're just sitting there typing. And so that was crazy. I was like, okay, well, if writing can be in a trance, then I'm better at trance work than I think. And then we were on the floor and we were practicing trance stuff, and the floor was literally cement with thin carpet over it, like one of those floors. And I fell the fuck asleep on that floor. Like, not a soft floor. I didn't have a pillow. I fell the fuck asleep while we were in trance. And then later, when there was a break, one of the teachers came over and woke me up. Can you believe that? I am an ancestor's gift written here. Also, I am soaked in my worth. We also did some kind of meditation where we were imagining ourselves as like within the earth, like plants and like fungi and stuff like that. So my brain wrote, I am a Hobbiton potato. Like that's literally just written in here. I am a Hobbiton potato. So then we made charm bags, and that was thyme, rosemary, sage, elderflower, chamomile, garlic, and cinnamon. And it was a lot better. It was a lot bigger than any charm bags that I'd made before. It kind of looked like a really cool little bundle. I'll put a picture in here, obviously. And so yeah, that was really, really cool to make with a whole bunch of other people like in ritual. That was really cool. I also finally learned like a spell sealer kind of thing, which I've been looking for. By all the power of 3 times 3, this spell bound round shall be, to harm none nor return on me, as I do will, so mote it be. That was cool. And then we had a session of affinity group, which is like smaller ones out of camp of people being put together based on their common interest or identity. Mine was quills, and I have a beautiful, beautiful token necklace. We were given necklaces as a keepsake. I have written metaphysical salve and flying up from the well in my purple dress. So we must have done some kind of meditation or discussion about Brigid's well. We also created our own proper ritual for quills that we were going to do later, the next day, I think. And then the evening event of day 3 was a bardic night, which was performances. Someone sang a song about the pirate queen Grace O'Malley in the original Gaelic. Somebody read out their favourite poem, and the line that I remember is, "I saw a T-Rex fight a comet and lose," which I just thought was amazing. Someone did a rune reading for all of us, and the main word I think that they said was that reality is a riddle, which is, you know, pretty, yeah. And then, if you can believe it, I stood up and sang. Yes, really. A few months before camp, I was thinking about like poems that I could write or before or during it, and my brain went to the song Savage Daughter by Sarah Hester Ross. A very viral song in the witchy side of social media. I saw it heaps on TikTok and Reels, and if you're on that side of things, you've probably heard it. My thing with songs is that I can't write tunes, so instead I change the words of someone else's song to suit my needs. So this is my interpretation of Savage Daughter. At camp, I did sing it because it was a room full of non-judgmental people and I wasn't the only amateur singer that night. But the internet is judgmental, so I'm just going to recite it now. And you can go listen to the original song that I'll link down below, and you can just imagine my lyrics. I am my wonder's savage prophet. I skip and I sprint through my nightmares untold. I am my wonder's savage prophet. I will protect my dreams. I will not lower my voice. My wonder's child is now a woman. Nearly 3 decades she has fought to be. In the shadows of me, the sickness within me, in the screaming through fire and my amethyst hair. I am my wonder's savage prophet. I skip and I sprint through my nightmares untold. I am my wonder's savage prophet. I will protect my dreams. I will not lower my voice. My wonder's light, it's from Brigid. In all my arts and in my writing too. And when I am dancing, I'm often falling. My sigil is stars in their rainbow hues. I am my wonder's savage prophet. I skip and I sprint through my nightmares untold. I am my wonder's savage prophet. I will protect my dreams. I will not lower my voice. My wonder's wand is from my own hand. Polished the wood and I wrapped it in gems. Then into the palm of my friend who lay dying. Her magic and mine live in there all times. I am my wonder's savage prophet. I skip and I sprint through my nightmares untold. I am my wonder's savage prophet. I will protect my dreams. I will not lower my voice. And if memory serves, I actually added a bit onto the end of that, which I haven't written down for some reason, where I kind of looked at everybody and kind of started belting a lot louder and just said, we are our ancestors' witches, the ones who run barefoot, cursing sharp stones, which is the usual lyric. We are our ancestors' witches. We will protect our dreams. We will not lower our voice. I think I said something like that. And then the last part of Bardic Night was an auction of like donated art and other special things. Each year it raises money for the camp the next year. So this one was for camp 2025. You can bid for yourself if you really want something, but other people can also bid for you. And then so your chance of like getting something with the highest amount of money is easier if people help you, so to speak. And so my Quills affinity group fam bid on a Brigid statue for me, like all of them at some point. Like one of them said, at first, you know, $20 for Tess, and then someone else, until all of them had said it. It was just the most amazing thing. And I'd said nothing about it. Like I hadn't said, you know, oh yeah, that Brigid statue is cool. Like I hadn't said a word, and they just slid into home base and they were just doing it. Like it was amazing. And I didn't end up getting it, which is okay with me because I have my felt Brigid statue already. And it was a clay Brigid, which isn't really my style, but like, I don't need the thing. I just have the memory of these amazing people that were, you know, strangers 3 days previously, and now they're like literally slamming their own money down to get me a present. Like, it's incredible. So yeah, I'll remember that forever. So day 4 in Path, I got some recommendations. One was a book, Dreaming the Dark, Magic, Sex and Politics. The poetry of Hildegard, who I only know a little about. And also a film called Agora, which I still haven't Googled. It's been months since camp and I still haven't Googled it. Oh my God. We did an exercise in Path called the Ally Circle, where you tell a secret or a trauma in the middle of the circle. You walk in and you say that, and everyone else, if they share that trauma or that secret with you, they come to the circle as well, and you kind of have a group hug. And then everyone else on the circle just kind of looks in, and they're like your allies. They're the support for this weight that you're carrying. We then did affirmations of purpose, and someone said, and I genuinely cannot remember if it was me or someone else, said something like, I am reclaiming play. And then we all laughed, and we all did this vocal warm-up that one of the teachers had taught us on the very first day, just to kind of get into everything. And they called it the Posh Eagle. And you think that's the craziest thing, but it sounds like that. It's this. Caw! Caw! Like, does that not sound like a posh eagle? Yes, it does. I learned the phrase, we are between the worlds, and what is between the worlds changes all worlds. So ritual that night was actually aspecting, which is where you have priestesses, which is the gender neutral term for priest or priestess. And they basically are aspecting through a deity. They're kind of embodying it. So in this case, they were aspecting Brigid. But then before that, obviously we were casting the circle and everything. And I had volunteered to do the invocation of Earth. So this is what I said. Mother Earth, you carry all. Every life, every element, this land. Your trees give us oxygen for sacred air. They root with us for comfort, but we claim their branches to the stars. Climb their branches to the stars. You allow our sacred fires to spark and hold the flaming logs on your solid palm. Even if the fire burns beyond your control, you forgive us and grow still. Sacred water caresses your skin, salted or fresh. You dance with the moon to move it and accept the rain for your future. You hold every sacred spirit that has ever been, molecules to dinosaurs, to elders, to wrongly buried children. And did I yell that and look straight at the Palestinian flag that was on one of our altars? Yes, I did. Molecules to dinosaurs, to elders, to wrongly buried children. You embrace them as we scream. Earth carries all, earth is sacred. So one of the priestesses, this incredible woman, aspecting as Brigid, she came up to me, and no, I think I came up to her actually, and I said, I can't remember what I said, like I think I showed her this book maybe, but she said to me, there is a tidal wave in you that the world must see. Sparrows and horses, lions and eagles. My pillars will not fall. She had her hand on my chest and like our foreheads were together and we were just kind of breathing and having this moment. So that was crazy. And she asked to see my book. And so she was looking at it and I think she saw Fire Does Not Kill a Witch, and she said something positive about that. And then later, the next day, the woman who obviously was as herself then, she came up to me and she said, oh, Tess, by the way, last night I have this memory of this incredible urgency in you. And I was like, well, urgency to make things a lot better. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. So, you know, she saw some accurate stuff. On the Forge altar, there were a bunch of different public altars. There were actually flowers on it. And someone at some point, there was an anvil as well, an anvil and a hammer because it was the Forge altar. And someone had put the flowers that were also on the table, they actually put them on the anvil. So I wrote down, my forge is a flower and a flower is my forge, to think of like something delicate and colorful and beautiful alongside something like really, you know, like powerful and hard and intense like a forge. There were drums in the middle while we were aspecting, and I went over and just kind of vibed with the tambourine because there was like different drums that were free and you could come up and play whenever you wanted. And I ended up playing the Dog Days Are Over rhythm, that one. And I wasn't really thinking. And then finally I realized that everyone else was practically silent and like I was the one kind of leading the rhythm and they were the one following me. And like I realized how heavy my eyes were. Like I was doing something with my hands and I was in a loud room full of people, but I was somehow nearly asleep when I was doing this on the trampoline. So that was the strangest feeling ever. Then the aspecting Brigid's gave us some words to the entire room. They had statements. And the one I remember was from the woman who blessed me. And she said to all of us, I am not what they took from me. So that was like, whoa, like that, that was insane. Yeah, that ritual was like pretty crazy. I can't possibly pick a favorite ritual, but having that moment with the Brigid priestess was like pretty crazy. Like I don't know, like you could say that, you know, oh my god, it's crazy, you're all crazy, of course she wasn't channeling Brigid, and it's like, well, I don't have proof, you know, scientifically that she was, but you can't see into the metaphysical realm and into her brain, so you don't know that she wasn't either. So whatever. Oh, one thing that I forgot to say was the lineup of our quills ritual that we did. So we did acknowledge country, grounding, circle cast, elements. We invoked Brigid with a song that we had learned at camp. We then each gave the story of our healing, kind of the what's going on for us and what we're trying to get over. We then discussed our catalyst moment, accompanied by a Singo tarot pull. I was terrified that I was going to get the tower, but I got Moon, and my group helped me understand it. It's sort of a dark night of the soul. You've come through the tower, and the illusion is that you don't have control over your own thoughts and feelings. And there's also, it's a suggestion that you should replace should with could, which is, again, pretty good advice. We talked about active healing. And then we did something ceremonial that was actually my idea. We did the voguing that's at the end of Relentless Self-Expression by Eastern Pain, danced by Project 21. That end bit is just so fun. It's to Vogue by Madonna, so that's the end of it. It's just so fun, and it resonates with me so much, the title. So we completely effed up on the actual voguing, but we were just kind of doing it, no trouble at the end, yelling Relentless Self-Expression. So that was like really magical to have everyone loving something that I had suggested. And another thing I have written from Quill's ritual, it's in here somewhere I think, is the mask of your pain shatters and you mend it with gold into a vase to grow your soul flower. That's a reference to kintsugi, which is a Japanese art where when something breaks, you mend it with gold or silver so that the cracks are actually visible, and it makes it more beautiful for having been broken. So day 5 was kind of a half day. We had the morning through to kind of lunchtime. And our path group of beginners, we created a collaborative ritual based on a tarot card that we pulled like as the lot of us, which was the world, and that was like incredible. Like the world includes obviously all the people in the world, and we were doing it as a group ritual of multiple people, so that was like insane. We included a couple of chants that we had learned to breathe into with the ritual. Some people suggested them, and I can somehow remember the tunes. Please ignore the fact that I'm not a professional singer at all. You know, these are just kind of just little nee things that you say to bring the ritual kind of into your mind. So, earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit, spirit my soul. So that's one. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, the spirit, return, return, return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, the spirit, return, return, return. And then another one was, we are the rising of the moon, we are the shifting of the ground, we are the seeds that take root when we pull the fortress down. So that was kind of like, you know, the fortress of oppression. So that was really fun. And so when we were writing everything and choosing the parts, someone says, okay, who does the Brigid invocation? And I'm looking at my book, writing everything down. And then I look up to see just an entire circle of people just staring at me, being like, well, it has to be you. Like in our like self-created official, you know, amazing ritual that we're doing together, like it has to be you. I was the one carrying my travel altar box around with my Brigid statue in it, so it's pretty obvious that I was a pretty big devotee. So I think they decided that I needed it to be me. I told my friend Luca this, like how they chose me, and he said, oh my god, it's like Midsummer, you're the May Queen, they chose you. And I was like, okay, like that was very fun to think about. So I wrote this for Brigid for that ritual. Brigid, we invoke your flaming hair, we invoke your grass green mantle, we invoke the weapons you could make in your forge that are only for justice, or art made for the delight of all. We take our pain and we shake it out. We are free. Florence references. Join us in our work, if you will. We will be forever grateful. We honor you. Brigid is sacred. We designed our ritual to be kind of cord or yarn magic, and again I was very happy about that because it was, you know, using an art supply, which is yarn. We cast our circle using the yarn to make it a big circle, and then we put that on the ground to kind of represent the magic, and it was orangey red. And so when we were kind of picking the yarns, I was like, oh yeah, we should use that one because it's the color of Brigid's hair. And everyone else was like, whoa! And I was like, but that's so obvious though. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just too obsessed with Brigid, but that just like came out of my mouth really obviously. We then did the cutting part with some other thread, where we rolled it to each other across the circle, and each time we called out an injustice of the world, like capitalism or transphobia or child abuse or whatever it is. And we each had a pair of scissors, and so then we cut the cord, our piece, at wherever we were, and it turned into this huge pile once all the pieces were cut because we weren't holding them anymore. And so we started chanting and dancing, and some people in the middle, including me, we were just like hacking and hacking at this, like at this cord to represent how we want to take down the unjust systems and forces in the world. We decided we were going to take some of the cord home and burn it as like an individual vow from the ritual to keep our promise and fight the injustices that we were talking about. And then we really gently cut the circle cast Brigid's hair, and kept that to remember each other's power and beauty. So I have that on my altar and to make art out of. The end of the ritual was us saying just kind of power words over and over that the others would echo. So I did "I love you, keep going" over and over again, louder and louder, until the others copied me and we were just screaming it at the ceiling. So that felt amazing. final ritual with everybody, not just us, as the beginner's path, was a spiral dance outside under light rain. The leaf Brigid's doll, the big Brigid, in the middle. There was some kind of cloud, like some mist that had descended on us at first, and so one of my friends from Quills said, "Oh, we caught the clouds," because the camp name is Cloudcatcher. Ha, 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 nice one. But it was really beautiful, actually. So yeah, that was lovely. We sung to the orgs and the teachers because they, you know, they're just responsible for everything and they're so amazing. And as one, we said, "This circle is open, never broken." And so I did cry more. The tears did come when I was saying bye to the teachers and to my Quills buddies. It came in half a second, no warning. Like, it must have been like, I love you so much. But I also remember specifically saying, "Thank you for seeing me." So that was like, I said that to somebody. And then we drove back down to the airport and my head was still spinning, and I got on a plane and came home and slept for 100 hours. I'm very grateful for this little sparkly friend that has all these specific things in it that I would probably never remember. When my camp work in this grimoire is done, I'll show you. A lot of the works I started in ritual, like this was the fear release, like I did while we were discussing the orb ball. I was just drawing it here. So I did it during the rituals, so the energy from that moment is imbued in this book, and then I'm gonna finish these pieces however I want. So this monster length video is now finished. And I'm exhausted, but I hope it gave you some good vibes and convinced you that being a witch or a pagan is just the most amazing thing. Just embrace your weirdness. Like, I can't say that enough. And if you live in Australia, I hope this can convince you to come to Cloudcatcher Camp next year. And yes, I am absolutely talking to people that I know personally who I want to kidnap and take. Anyway, comment down below if you are also a witch or a pagan so I can follow you and be a very dedicated lover of your magic. Subscribe for more art and witchiness and positivity from me. And remember, I love you. Keep going.